Welcome back to SLR F1 once again. It is myself and Jam on the stream on this Friday evening. It's coming down right to the closing stages of the season here for all three of the divisions, but it is as always the Division 2 race tonight. 3 rounds left to go, and this championship is looking like it's going to go down right to the wire between UK Beast Assassin and Sotty O'Clock. However, Crispy is still in the championship fight, albeit he is a long way behind in terms of points through no fault of his own. But last time out, it was neither of the championship protagonists on the top step of the podium. It was in fact Callum McKeon who won for the second week in a row in the Racing Point. Expect the same again tonight, Jam, or are you thinking someone different on the top step?
Yeah, well, hello everyone. Good to be back once again alongside Harry, of course. Yeah, I'm not really too sure what I think about this one, to be honest. I think you've got to fancy Callum McKeon, really, haven't you? He's won back to back. He's looked comfortable out in front. He's looked like one of the quickest guys in this division. No disrespect to anyone else, but yeah, I think it's hard to look past him for another win tonight. But I mean, it could be anyone really, couldn't it? As Ranga leaving the session, either his connection's not great, or yeah, I was going to say that could hint at maybe just getting a wet setup. Either way, I'll make sure to get him back in the lobby.
No one's gone out yet in the first 50 seconds, which is slightly unusual. Normally we would have seen someone out by now, although having said that, there is a Renault just coming out of the garage. It is EOR Hamilton, so he is going to be the first driver out on track this evening. So 3 rounds left to go in the championship, Jam. The drivers can't be won today, can't be won this week. That will go to at least Brazil. But the constructors can be won tonight. Racing Point hold the advantage in that championship. I believe they need to outscore Alfa Romeo by 6 points. That's basically the easiest way of looking at it, is that if the Racing Points outscore the Alphas by 6 points, then they should, I think, win the constructors. Although there are, as you say, some permutations that could come into play.
So ultimately, if Racing Point outscore Alpha by 6 points, they'll win the championship. As long as McLaren don't score 15 more points than them, and as long as Mercedes don't score 21 more points than them. So, judging by recent weeks, but of course we can't predict anything too early, but if another good result tonight for Racing Point, and they will win this Div 2 Constructors Championship.
Yeah, so interestingly enough as well, all the drivers that are out are on softs. So no one's looking to try and get through on the mediums as it stands. Hamilton's just come around the final couple of corners now then to start his lap. So then here we go then, Circuit of the Americas. Relatively new circuit on the F1 calendar. 2012, I believe, its first race. So yeah, only 8-9 years old. It's one of only 5 anti-clockwise circuits on the calendar, but that will be 6 with the addition of Hanoi next season. It seems as though Hamilton has invalidated his lap.
I've got some big news, Harry.
Not the best start there.
It's a wet race.
Big news then. Wet race. What, we talking full wet or?
I'm not sure. I've just been told wet, but judging by the fact that
going to be wet.
Ranga left almost certainly to get a setup, then that would indicate to me that probably a wet start and possibly wet for the whole race. Although of course we don't know. We're just guessing at this point. But either way, bit of weather could really throw things up,
Spice
mess
things
things up. Yeah, spice things up. I don't quite know what I'm trying to say. It could really, yeah, it could really sort of throw this championship wide open with some drivers struggling. Beast has just sort of indicated he's not looking forward to it, so it could be an interesting one. Don't know how good Clock is in the wet.
I can't remember the last time we had a wet
No,
race
no,
in
no.
in Division 2 actually. Yeah, a long while ago now.
I think Predators is going to be first to set a lap if you
Yeah, I'm on
flick to him.
board with him. Yeah, I really can't
Driver of the
remember. I
week
mean, this championship
last
has
week, of course.
already been sort of going back and forth between multiple drivers over the course of the season, and it's finally sort of, you know, somewhat leveled out. And then we're getting races like this, heavy rain races, and you know, disconnections and safety cars all being thrown into the mix here, and it's really meaning that it's become very tight at the top of the championship, and hopefully we'll be able to see a championship fight on, well, at Abu Dhabi. I mean, I'm not sure we're going to get that in Division 1 or Division 3, but it would be nice to get it in at least one of the divisions here.
It's not over.
And it would seem most likely that it would be in Division 2. As there we go then. So nothing too unusual at the top of the timings, with both the Racing Points putting themselves into the first two slots there on the grid. I'm on board with Southerners at the moment, who I believe is a reserve. We've got quite a few reserves standing in at the moment, but Southerners has done a pretty good lap by the looks of things. It's going to be a 32.7, so not too far off the pace, and not too far off the pace of his brother Jay Darnell, who is top of the times at the moment. He's put his Alpha into P1 with a 32.4, so once again we've got the usual suspects towards the top of the timings, albeit only 6 drivers have currently set laps.
I think these wet setups could really throw some. As Crispy goes fastest with a 32.2. Yeah, I think these wet setups is really throwing some surprises in quality. If someone's maybe gambled on a bit of a more dry setup to try and get higher up the grid, then we could see some drivers being knocked out who could potentially have some good pace in the wet.
Yeah, definitely. It's really going to be a question of, are the drivers sort of willing to sacrifice qualifying to a degree to hopefully have a bit better pace in the race. Yeah. Obviously with it being wet, I mean, I'm not entirely sure how different a wet setup is as opposed to a dry round here, but it's really that question of sort of how much are you willing to sacrifice in terms of your pace in qualifying in order to try and get some pace in the wet. Whilst we've been speaking, we've had the McLaren of Monkey put himself into P4, and check this out, in the Williams in P5, so they're splitting the two Racing Point drivers. So a bit different to recent weeks perhaps. We've got seemingly a lot closer towards the top of the field, as we've actually got the top 9 drivers all within a second of each other at the moment, and the top 8 all within 9/10 of each other. So maybe we'll see perhaps some different drivers then towards the top, do you think?
Yeah, well, I think, to be honest, on the whole, the wet and the wet setups in the dry, and then obviously wet in the race, it's just a whole different kettle of fish, really, isn't it? You never know who's gonna be quick in the wet, who isn't, till you get there. If you've got confidence in the wet conditions, as we've seen in real life with people like Verstappen, Schumacher, Senna through the years, if you've got that pace and you've got that confidence in the wet, then you can pull out some great results. It might not be one of the I don't want to say usuals, because everyone in this division is quick and anyone on their day can get a good result, but one of the drivers that's usually up there. You might not see your Beast or your Clock or your Callum McKeon maybe getting quite such a good result because of these conditions, but obviously we'll have to wait and see. Also, Southerners is full time in the Williams now, which is good to see because I know he's been one of the
Ah.
guys that's been in here quite a while waiting for a seat. But that just shows the level of competition for a seat in SLR, which I think is great. We've obviously got an expansion to 4 divisions, which we of course touched on last week. I'm sure the other guys in the other commentary touched on as well. But yeah, it's just great to see lots of drivers that are there to step into a seat whenever we need them.
Yeah, just on board with Clock whilst he's done his lap, he puts himself P5 on a 32.6. So yeah, Clock perhaps showing a bit more pace than he did last week in Mexico. Although having said that, obviously he was plagued with connection troubles throughout that race weekend. So we never really got to see Clock's true pace. But I'm sure we'll be hoping from a personal standpoint, obviously championship standpoint, that he can have a bit better luck this week and
what is the gap in the championship now?
Recover some of that form that he had in the weeks prior. The gap in the championship, I'm not too sure at the moment. It's definitely not a lot. I'll quickly get that up for you.
How far's Crispy behind as well? Because I'm thinking he's on the
Crispy
controller, isn't he? So I should imagine
5.
yeah, so it's not looking great for him. But being on the controller, I'd imagine he'd be pretty quick in the wet.
Yeah, I'll just get this up then. We'll see what we've got going on.
He retires from 3rd place. Interestingly enough, there's 4 drivers down the bottom not setting any laps yet. We've got Drastic Blaze in the Red Bull, both Renaults and in Ranga as well. As we start to see some of the top guys retiring now, obviously feeling confident enough on the times that they've set early on.
Yeah, so in terms of the
well.
championship, it's actually a little bit, the gap between Beast and Clock a little bit bigger than what perhaps we thought it was. It's 17 points. Beast just passed over the 200 point mark last week, so he's on 201, Clock on 184. Crispy is 46 points behind in 3rd place, so it's not impossible, by any stretch.
No, I mean, if he wins today and
still...
Beast finishes, I don't know, 5th or something, that's a 15-point game. He'd be not right back in it, but he'd be winning them, I think. Clock needs a good result today, though. He's not had such good results since Singapore, I want to say, where he finished. I believe that was P4 or P5. Since then, he's not quite got as good results as he would have liked. But I think he really needs to beat Beast today, just to sort of keep it as close as possible, obviously.
Yeah, even if it's only a few points. I was just about to say, obviously, Crispy showing some very strong pace, so that's really ideal for him. As has checked this out, he's put himself up into P2 as we were speaking. Drastic Blaze just crossed the line there on a 34.4, and yes, I was also going to mention that EOR Hamilton is in P4, but the other promising thing is that we've got up to 14th, or down to 14th place, that being SLR being in the Haas. It's a 7/10.
Wow, yeah.
So the top 14, it's going to be very tight then by the looks of things. As Drastic Blaze gets on the curb and he spins the car. That is not ideal, but he should have enough time to pit and get on a fresh set of tyres if he needs to. Top Gooner has done a 153, but I'd imagine that he's obviously not been best pleased with that lap, and he's obviously going to look to go again, as we know that he's quicker than that, and he'll be able to improve on that lap time, and I'm sure we'll see him up towards the top as he usually is. I believe Top Gooner is still P4 in the championship.
Yeah, great lap from Ranga Harris, sorry to put in there.
Yeah, it's pretty close in the championship in terms of that 4th place fight. It's between Top Gooner, Callum McKee and Predators and Ranga. They're all separated by less or just over 30 points, those 4 guys, so it's pretty close in terms of that P4 in the championship. And yes, as you said, Jam, Ranga has put himself P2 with a 32.3. Crispy then, albeit we said that the top 15 is now separated by about 7/10. Crispy has actually got a considerable gap to Ranga, if you're looking at it like that, with the gap being actually over a 10th at the moment. It's it's not a lot, but it is in terms of sort of the pace here today. I'm on board with Top Gooner, and it's pretty tidy lap so far, although I will admit I've not been paying the utmost attention to it. But here we go then, round the final corner. Let's see where this puts him. It's going to be a 32.5, and it was a good lap then, so maybe I was watching it more than I thought. He puts himself P5, 32.5, so as I said, Top Gunner putting himself up near the top where he generally is, which is quite difficult to say. I mean, considering, as you say, it's so competitive in this division. I mean, to consistently be sort of in that top 10 is no mean feat, and obviously Top Gunner is one of those that you typically will be seeing in the top 10. As is Silly Bunny in recent weeks. He's I think he just missed out on a podium last week after the stewards meeting, but he's been showing some really promising pace, and I'm sure he'll be looking to return to the podium and keep it this time for by the end of this season. Sorry, should I say? He's just about 2/10 up through the first sector, which would put him well up to about only P11 at the moment. Although having said that, it is still a substantial improvement. He is now 2.5 up, so it's looking like a pretty solid lap then for him so far as he comes through this final sector of complex of tight corners, which opens up into this long triple apex right-hander. It's a really nice corner that to drive, especially when you've got the downforce, maybe not so much in the wet. But here we go then. He's done well to avoid overstepping the mark with the track limits around the Millsop corner, and he puts himself up into P5 on a 32.4. So
crazy how close
even
it is.
Closer here at the top, yeah. It's really tight up at the top. Have we got anyone towards the lower end in inverted commas there? As obviously it's pretty tight margins. OMH is down on his lap, so he's in a bit of a precarious position. Being has got one, as has Rockamad.
Freeman, we've got quite a lot of action in the track actually. Freeman obviously supporting Ferrari as usual, being one of their drivers. He's also said that oh God, what was it? Yeah, Red Bulls are struggling. Yeah, it's a weird one. Predators every week, especially, seems to always be languishing around that bottom 5. Before he seems to always be able to pull out a lap to sneak through into Q2. But he always seems to be one of those drivers not picking up penalties, not making mistakes in the race, and ends up with a good position. But Bean's getting a lovely tow from his teammate Silly Bunny.
Southerner's jam, sorry. Southerner's just put himself up into second position on a 32.2. So very promising pace then from him. He's taken up that full-time seat, and he's obviously showing that that he wants it, and that he deserves to be given that chance
6/10 between
by
top
the Williams
14.
team. Yeah, I'm on board with Rockamad here, as he is a reserve for this week's race, but you wouldn't know it. I mean, you know, you might stereotypically think that the reserve drivers perhaps aren't going to be quite as quick as the full-time guys as it might be in real life, but honestly here it's difficult to tell. I mean, even I don't really know who's full-time and who's reserve. As Bean puts himself up into P10 it was, but it's now P11 as Rockamad has gone P4. It is ridiculously close. It is 5.5 tenths between the top 15 drivers here. This is really exciting, because honestly I could not tell you who my money's on for the pole, let alone to make it through to that top 10 shootout.
This out, Harry, I think, unless he's going again, which I think he'll have to.
Jurassic Blaze is on an outlap, but he's not going to make it.
No, he's not on an outlap, surely.
Time. Yeah, he's been on an outlap for ages, so I'd be surprised if he was. He's coming across the line now. Callum McKean's down in P15 jam. He's in real trouble here. Jurassic Blaze was on a lap. He did improve, but it wasn't quite enough, unfortunately. Division's on a lap. He's 2/10 up. Callum McKean on the cusp here of being eliminated, as is Liam in the Ferrari. Monkey's going to put himself up into P2, so everyone just keeps taking that second position. Division crossed the line, 32.8. It's not quite. That's unlucky for the Toro Rosso driver.
Liam's in trouble, but he's improving, Harry.
Liam is marginally up through the first. Predators is nearly, well, he's just over a 10.5 down, so he is also looking like he might be out here. Clock is just about going to scrape through unless something drastic happens here. I mean, it's not a bad lap from him, nor is it a bad lap from Callum McKeon, but I think maybe perhaps they just underestimated the competition here, and they've only gone for that one run, and it could prove costly here. Obviously, Racing Point, they have the lead in the constructors. I'm sure they'd like to try and wrap it up this week, although inside info says that both drivers are trying to prioritise that drivers' championship for Beast. Liam doesn't quite improve, and so Callum McKean will be through. So a brave call from himself, as it was from Clock, but it's paid off for the both of them, and they have made it through. It will mean that they perhaps might have an extra set of those soft compound tyres as opposed to some of the other guys.
That's crazy though, Harry. Crispy in first on a 32.2, all the way down to Predators in 19th place on a 33.0. That's 8 tenths separating 19 drivers. Unfortunately for Trusted Blaze, I don't think he was quite able to set the best lap he could manage. He's on a 33.6, but even so, it just shows this field is crazy close. If Predators has found, what, 5 tenths, half a second, he would have been up 6 places or something, I think. From what I can see, it's ridiculous.
Well, yeah, I mean,
there's 3 tenths between 1st and 13th.
Yeah,
so at the moment, anyone's guess as to who's going to get pole.
One little mistake, and it may have cost some of these guys the chance at progressing through this quali session. But that is the end of Q1. It's looking really promising then for an action-packed race, as it was last week in Mexico. It's really exciting that we've got, you know, the vast amount of drivers here on the grid, all in close proximity of one another. It should spell a really exciting race, as yeah, it's the top 15 separated by less than 5 tenths. But unfortunately, we have got 5 drivers out. It is both the Ferraris of Liam and OMH in P16 and P18 respectively. They are split by division in P17. Are you alright there, Jam? It sounds like a bomb just went off. And then the 2 Red Bulls round up the back of the grid, Predators and Blaze. Interesting.
I pulled my mic out slightly.
I'm gonna just check what the pole time was last season. I mean, I'm not saying that it will be beaten, as obviously I think some of these drivers will have wet setups on, but it'll be interesting to see if anyone can. Let's see if we can
go out and
find it.
Looks like everyone's got softs fitted at the moment, so that would potentially suggest that it's going to be a wet start to this race. Obviously, we know there's going to be rain at some point, but for how long, we do not know. Yeah, everyone got softs fitted, although only 4 or 5 out at the moment. 6, yeah, they're all coming out on softs, I think, Harry.
So we had pole in Division 2 last year was a 31.8, so Crispy was only 4 tenths off that in Q1, so yeah, you'd imagine that will be beaten if, well, if we don't see any rain or anything towards the end of this quali session. I'd imagine that all these guys are going to be on the softs with it being a wet race, but you never know.
Alright, we have some more reliable information as to the weather for the race. Predators saying it's going to start heavy rain and then ease to inters towards the back half of the race. So yeah, no wonder they're all going out. It doesn't appear so. No wonder they're all going out on soft. So if it's gonna be a heavy rain start to this race.
Yeah. So once again. No. I was going to say once again. Check this out. Is the first driver out on track, but it was Hamilton last time. But check this out. Is the first driver out on track in this session. He's just about to start a lap. If you wouldn't mind taking us through it, Jam.
I can certainly give it a go. Opens DRS now onto the start-finish straight. This is a tricky corner, unsighted up the hill. Going to see a lot of action there, especially on the first lap. You can see some late moves as it's quite wide. Gonna always squeeze on the power a bit early. That could be his lap over, I think. Is there anyone else we can jump onto? I think we've got Jocko behind him.
Jocko on one, yeah.
Take us through the S's then, Jocko. Oh, he's invalidated.
He's invalidated.
Right, we're gonna Darnell now. We're gonna keep going through him.
No, Darnell's already invalidated his by the looks of things.
No, it looks good to me.
Who's behind him? I've got a red track.
No, Darnell's carrying on for me.
Alright. We'll stick with it anyway now.
Yeah. Oh, that might... No, it's not gone rid of my track map. Oh, he's backed off.
Oh, he's
right,
backed.
Next one.
I'll let you... Right, let's start this again. We'll watch Callum McKeon for the rest of his lap, and then we can try it again.
They don't want me to commentate over a lap.
Oh, you know what? Clock's about to start one. Let's go with that.
Right,
Clock's starting one.
Here we go. Right. Second place in the championship at the moment is Clock. So he shifts up to 8th. Interesting. He's going to shift up through the gears now. Down the hill towards the S's. This is all about commitment here. You want to be easing off as little as possible and sticking as tight to the apex as you can. 24.8 for the first sector, evens very wide. Tricky little corner this to get the power on. If you put it on too early, you will spin out quite easily. Heading down the hill now towards the back straight. Going to brake at about the 80-meter mark. Callum McKeon going fastest with a 32.4. The Clock now is going to be bolting down this back straight, reaching speeds of over 200 miles per hour. Quite a late shift up to 8th there. He's going to brake just before that 50-meter board. Very late braking down into the end of the back straight. 1 minute 2.1 through the middle sector. Ranger goes fastest 31.7. He's already beaten last season's pole time. Showing some great pace there is Ranger.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Now flat out through the triple apex right-hander, sort of reminiscent of Turkey Istanbul Park, although it's opposite. Instead of left, it's right. Flat out through those final sections. You want to be careful on the exit here because that curb can bite. Clock does a 32.5. I don't really know much about the track, but there you go.
32.5, I think, was pretty similar to what Clock managed in Q1 there. Ranger, I think. Well, I don't want to speak too soon, but on 31.7, obviously beating last year's pole time, he's looking pretty good at the moment on a 31.
He'll be safe with that easily. And if he's not,
Crispy's on a lap as well, so I'll keep an eye on him. Obviously, Crispy was the pace setter in that first quali session.
He's going to get a bit of traffic.
A toe of sorts of Silly Bunny, who does move out of the way. Slightly interesting. But Crispy's
4 tenths of
1 minute 1.7, yeah, 4 tenths of on Clock through the middle sector. Could we see Crispy being the second driver into the 131s here? Slight little over rotation there, but he did pretty well to hold it.
Oh, that's invalid. Yeah, he's
invalidated.
Just too much that inside curve. So easy to do. This track pretty unforgiving on the track limits. Yeah, 32 flat. No one's getting near Ranger at the moment.
Into P2. It's that wet setup that he's running.
Yeah, he's got his time shot. He's not the wet setup, and he's gone 3 tenths quicker than anyone else in the try.
Yeah. Well, we don't know if he's running a wet setup, but
well, I'd imagine so, since he left.
Yeah.
Anyone on a lap at the moment we can go on board?
Darnell's on an out lap. I think he's just about to start one. I'm on board with him at the moment. Hamilton is also just behind him. They're both on out laps.
Again on the same set. Might as well, I guess, go out on the same set if you've got the fuel, but Clock hasn't validated.
They're not going to be starting on him, are they?
No, exactly. Anyone on a lap now? I think Hamilton is just starting one.
Jay Darnell's on one, Jam. He's just coming to the S's now.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, of course he invalidated earlier on when I was trying to commentate over a lap.
So
Taking
the
life
S's
this
here
time.
obviously modelled off Silverstone and Beckett's Chapel sequence of corners. I'd say they're almost more satisfying to drive at COTA than they are perhaps at Silverstone. Just sort of the slightly higher speed, faster changes of direction.
They come at you a bit quicker, don't they?
Yeah, it's pretty nice to drive though when you can sort of whiz through them, keeping control of the car. Obviously, you don't want to be losing it through there, as it isn't ideal. Darnell is on a pretty good lap by the looks of things. It's a 1 minute 1.8 through the middle sector. Slight little over rotation, but again, another driver doing well to hold it. Coming through the right-handers now. It's going to be a downshift to 5th through the left-hander. Got to make sure to not go all 4 wheels off the track on the exit there. Through the final corner. Awful corner there with the sunlight, but it is 31.8.
Alpha
that
don't
final
want the
corner,
constructors to end this week, do they?
That final corner as well, though, pretty challenging for the drivers with the reflection of the sun right on the racing line and on the apex. It's not the most ideal of circumstances to be taking that corner under, but as you say, Alpha then really putting down a statement here that they aren't giving up on this Constructors' Championship just yet. So if this were to be the finishing result of the race, then both championships would be going to Brazil. Well, in fact, the Drivers' Championship is going to Brazil regardless of the result of tonight's race.
Interestingly enough, though,
got on a lap.
Yeah, interestingly enough, all of the teams still in contention for this Constructors' title, so Racing Point, Alfa Romeo, McLaren and Mercedes, all 8 of their drivers through to Q2. We've got 6 of the 10 in the top 3, and in the top 10 at the moment, going through to Q3 so far, and Crispin and Jocko not setting laps yet for Mercedes, so if Mercedes want any slight chance of that Constructors' title, they're really going to have to step up their game a bit. But I'm sure they'll be improving. As I've got Jocko, I'm not sure who you're with, Harry.
Yeah, he's just coming up to the final corner now. It's not going to be P1, it's going to be P8 then for Jocko, so not a bad lap from him. It's immediately beaten by Bean, who puts himself up into P6. Darnell was also retired from the session. Crispy crosses the line, 32 flat, puts himself P3. So Crispy looking pretty good again then. So that is now everyone. Everyone has set a lap at least. I think the majority of these drivers, if they can, will go out again though, as obviously no one wants to be eliminated here. Yeah, we've got a few coming out of the pits, both the McLarens and Rockamad then have come out of the pits.
Is anyone on a lap? I really can't tell. I'm still on board with Jocko, but
I don't.
Oh, Jocko's up on his lap, and he's not even running. He's still in 1 on his ERS mode, so he's obviously got some time to find. It's, from what I've seen, it's looked like a pretty nice lap, but to be honest, I wasn't expecting him to be up on his time. Sorry.
Yeah, he's put it back up into the hot lap mode. So he's definitely still pushing here as he rounds the final corner. Pretty nice on the traction out of it, and puts us at P6.
Perfect that final sector as well.
There did Jocko, so very promising lap time from him. Summers is still in the pits, but he's got 3 minutes, so he does still have time to come out and set a lap. I believe
that'll be Jocko then
about
for the
to start a lap jam. and this is going to be crucial for the championship. I know we've been saying that a lot in recent weeks, but more now than ever. I think this will really be crucial, with it being a wet race as well. So here we go then. Rounds the first corner, tight uphill braking there. Well, tight towards the apex obviously, but it's a pretty wide corner in terms of the track width. Through the S's, looking pretty good, but he is slightly down on his time. Up this crest of the chicane, up that little hill there, pretty tricky on the traction. Can't be too greedy there, and then down into another hairpin, another heavy braking zone. Swing it round, make sure you get a good exit, as it's a pretty long back straight here. We'll see lots of overtaking here in the race, even with it being a wet race, I'd imagine. And then again, another heavy braking zone into another hairpin of sorts. Bit more of a sort of 100, 110 degree corner there. But clock is up through the middle sector into this twisty final sector complex, going down into another slow corner there. A very dips down into the apex through the triple right-hander. Quick change of direction for that left-hander, very close in terms of track limits. Little bit late on the brakes into the final corner, and it's only 9th for clock. A little mistake there on that lap, and I wonder if he's going to go again here. He might have to, judging by who he's still got behind him. Check this out, it's invalidated. Bunny's on a lap, so we'll stay on board with him. He's just coming through the middle sector split now. He's nearly 2 tenths up.
A bit of a slide on exit. There's a McLaren off.
He's off. Is that clock?
That's clock. Yeah, clock's off.
Clock. Oh, what's he doing?
I think he's kept it out of the walls, but
and we've got Toro Rosso off as well.
Yeah, unrelated incidents, I'm pretty sure.
Bunny crosses the line and he goes P9.
Definitely out. This could be clock out. This could be crucial for the championship. He's not going to improve again. He's not going to be able to do another lap.
Oh no. Who's on a lap then?
Top Gooner's on a lap.
Check this out. On a lap.
Monkey Clock's teammate is on a lap. Wow, that'd be a story if he got knocked out by his own teammate. Rockamad, obviously we just saw spun as well, and Southerners on a lap as well, so 4 drivers still that could not clock out. Southerners is up in the first sector. Top Gooner's up in the middle. Top Gooner on course to not clock out.
With him now. Oh, this is big.
Monkey's up as well.
This is big for the championship.
Surely Clock's going to be out here. One of these 4 drivers. 3 of them so far are up through this middle sector split. Check this out. The most, he's 3 tenths up.
Okay then. Top Gooner around the final corner. Oh, he's going to do it. Yes, P5 for Top Gooner.
Wow, now it's just how far will Clock fall, I think.
Regardless of what anyone else does, Clock is going to be out, and that is big news for the championship. Check this out then, round the final corner as well. Where is he going to go? All little bit too
Callum McKeon's that could be out as well,
still
Harry.
Up into P8. Callum McKeon
Monkey
could also be out. As Southerners is up.
He was 4 tenths up.
Southerners is up. Bunny has made a mistake as well, as he has just pitted, but Southerners could knock out the racing point of Callum McKeon, who's won the last 2 races.
And he does.
And he does. He goes P9. So Callum McKeon, two weeks in a row, race winner, is out in Q2, and it's some big news then, as he is joined out in Q2 by Sotia Clock, the championship protagonist. That is gonna be big news for the championship, and that is I'm sure Beast will have a wry smile on his face, as he seemed to perhaps not be feeling terribly confident about the wet conditions for the race, but he perhaps won't have to worry about Clock as much as he thought he would.
Yeah, what makes it better for him as well is the fact that Callum McKeon is only 1 place, or sorry, there's only 1 car in between him and Clock, so Callum McKeon could end up sort of frustrating clock throughout this race if things pan out like that. Obviously, Racing Point want to win as constructors, but they've also said the drivers is more important. So we could see a bit of a hold-up game from Callum McKeon. We haven't seen it so far, but information that we have received suggests that that's the sort of thing that will be happening. Oh, for God's sake. Is my mic static again?
It seems alright
for
me.
Another thing to note as well was Southern has actually knocked Callum McKeon out, which gives one of the Darnell brothers helping another out, and that's going to be important for the constructors potentially. There's of course one Racing Point now down in 11th place, so they will get nowhere near as many points as they need to secure that constructors title.
Again, though,
I'm happy that Ranga get pole.
It's less than 4/10 though, separating that top 10. So close. It's really anyone's guess as to who is going to get pole. But on that note, can we ask for some predictions for pole?
Yeah, we've got a few already.
I'm going to ask you first, Jam. Who's your money on for pole?
I'm going with Ranga. Why not?
All right, I'm gonna go Crispy. I think this week.
We've got a couple for Ranga already. I think that's Southern, as you said. Alpha for pole. Someone I don't know how to say his name. I'm just gonna call him J10. He said Beast will get pole. So yeah, it's looking like an Alfa Romeo or Beast so far. I'm going with Ranga. I want to see Ranga get pole because he's crashed a few times in quali.
Because then you can say Ranga to Div 1.
Yeah, I'm all aboard the Ranga to Div 1 train. If he keeps putting in performances like this, we might have to put him up.
Rizzone's voting for Beast as well in the chat. So yeah, pretty split opinion then between the Alphas and Beast.
For Ranga. Sure, after all this, it'll probably be.
It'll
probably be someone we haven't even mentioned, because that's what it was like with Callum McKeon. After all this, it'll be like check this out or someone that ends up with pole. But
like I mentioned, it really could be anyone. Oh, Choco's DRS is broken.
Great game, you love to see it. His DRS is broken.
Baggy fans saying Ranga and Jadon L for Div 1. So there you go. You'll have to wait and see. We've got, me and Jam obviously we are Div 1 admins, so we get a little bit of a say as to who we feel could move up from Division 2, and we've got a few names on that list, haven't we, Jam? We've got a few names.
I think doing the comms every week has been good as well, because it means we can keep a close eye on who's going to be potentially moving up. We've got Czech starting a lap, Harry. This is the most important session of the weekend, you could say. Obviously, you get the points in the race, but you're more likely to get more points if you get a good grid position.
Yep. So on ball with the Williams through sector 1, lovely line through the S's. He's taken a lot of speed through there, and it's seemed pretty tidy so far. 25 flat through the first sector. Again, very smooth with the change of direction up through that little uphill chicane. Slows it down pretty nicely there for the hairpin. Pretty good traction on the exit as well, so that's going to be good for this run down the straight. Looked like a pretty tidy lap so far. I can't really see too many areas where perhaps he could gain a lot of time here. So it'll be interesting to see whereabouts on the grid this puts him. It's a 2.1 through the middle sector.
Jocko's got no DRS still, Harry, as we already mentioned. Crispy's invalidated, Hamilton's invalidated.
Ooh.
Ranga's invalidated,
Bean's
invalidated, so we've got lots of invalidations.
Alright then, so by virtue of being the only one to set a valid lap here, I think Czech will go up to P1.
Nah, there's a few behind him on
Goes
valid
a
laps.
little deep into the hairpin there, so perhaps just that little mistake there towards the end of the lap, but other than that, it was a pretty solid lap there from, check this out, in the Williams.
I think Beast is going to beat it,
rounds
Harry.
the final corner. I think he will. It's
31.9.
31.9. So Beast
Choco without DRS, 33.1. That's a respectable time, seeing as the game has not done him any favours. Southerners 32.6 puts himself current P2.
Anyone else on a lap? Hamilton's on a lap, but it's invalid. Oh, Darnell's on a lap jump, and he goes
31.9.
There we go.
Could have sworn he'd invalidated.
So he's just gone slightly faster than Beast, but obviously it's milliseconds here that count, and so it is Darnell on provisional pole after sort of the first
starting one as well,
round
Harry.
of laps.
I know you like to watch the Haas drivers.
I always try if I can to keep an eye on them, and yeah, Bean then. I'm pretty pleased with his performance so far, has to be said, as a fellow Haas driver, getting through Q3. You always like to see that. Was he? How many are we giving him? 200 points.
No,
Bean's leading the championship.
That's a 10-point bonus for the nice helmet.
Is it?
Yeah. There you go.
Are we allowed to do that? Is that in the contract?
Yeah, that's new rule that they're adding for new season. The commentators give 10 points to the driver with the nicest helmet.
Ah, okay, fair enough. Talking of things that are pretty nice, it seems as though Bean's lap at the moment has been pretty good.
Well, that's what he did there.
I mean, we're seeing this. I think it's really shown how much these drivers have progressed throughout the season. Is that really every lap now we're watching, there's very few mistakes, if any, and they're all pretty darn quick. I mean, like you say, there are definitely a few of these drivers that are on knocking on the door of the Division 1 guys here, as Bean rounds the final couple of corners. It's looking pretty good. Where's it going to be on the grid? It's going to be P3 at the moment, but he's not that far off. 32.1 then for the Haas driver, and so that is basically the first round of laps, and it is Darnell from Beast as your top two at the moment.
Yeah, that'll be spicy.
Who did we say for pole? Crispy and Ranga. There we go. All right, actually talking Crispy, he's on a lap, so here we go. We'll see what he can do. He was my bet for pole, Crispy. Come on, don't let me down here, mate.
Talking the chat that Bean might be running a dry setup though, Harry. But either way, a 32.1 puts him Q3 at the moment. That's a great lap from him so far. Ooh, purple first sector from Crispy.
Good, yeah.
I'll let you take over.
I was just gonna say, like, in terms of setups, I mean, when we did the Wednesday race the other night, dry setup personally didn't feel too bad in the wet, but obviously that was intermediate conditions, and so it won't be as challenging as the full wet. But perhaps this could be an inspired call from Bean to run a dry setup. But as you say, Crispy then looking pretty good through the first sector. What's his middle sector split going to be looking like? Oh, it's looking very good, it has to be said. Very in control on the traction. The car is on rails by the looks of things through that little sequence of corners. He's gonna maximise the width on entry into the penultimate turn. Slows it down very nicely then for the final corner. Again, very good on the power on the exit, and it's a 31.6.
That's a good lap. That's a good time.
5.9 for Crispy, and that is provisional pole for the Mercedes driver. Although I do fear that that will be his one and only contribution in this qualifying session, but it's not a bad one, is it?
That'll be high up on the grid, definitely. If that's his one and only lap, that could still be pole. But Ranga's on an out lap, so come on, lad. What can you do?
Yeah, so we've got Beast as well on that lap, but Ranga is slightly further ahead, so we'll go on board him. He's your bet for pole, and he's yet to set a lap, so we'll keep an eye on Ranga then. In the Alpha, he's running a interesting colour combination there on his helmet. It's a very
I like his helmet as well.
very pinky red by the looks of things in the light, and then he's got the green and the black.
Nah, that's yellow, mate.
Is it yellow?
Looks like neon yellow to me.
Might be.
Here you go. This gives us something to talk about when no one's on the lap. We can just rate the helmets.
Yeah, we'll rate it. We'll do some helmet rates. What are we giving this one then?
Rate
Beans
my
a 10 out of 10. If
I reckon it's an 8. Solid 8.
10 out of 10.
Solid 8.
Solid 8?
No, I never said Beans is a 10 out of 10. I said it's a...
Well, you gave it 10 points.
Yeah, but, you know, I was just making up a number. I could have given him any number of points. Anyway, right. We'll focus on the lap
Back
now.
to the task at hand, yeah.
Yes, indeed. They're just corners, those S's. The way they flow.
If he gets pole, he's going up to Div 1. That's the promise.
24/7 through that first sector. That's the sort of times I've been doing.
Ooh, he's coming for you, James.
Yeah, he's coming for me.
Coming for your spot.
Yeah.
Div 1 champ dropped.
Everyone's saying F1 2020 is a pad game, so we're gonna see Ranga to Elite Division, I think, at this rate. Oh, I see everyone's telling us off for talking about helmets now. Oh, 1.15 through that middle sector.
What else do you want to talk about? We spend half of this thing rambling anyway.
I think if you're going to talk about anything, you should talk about this lap, because I think we're gonna witness one of the laps of the season here. If you can just keep it in between the white lines.
Previously into that corner just a second ago, but other than that it seemed pretty good, but that is very wide there, although I don't think it's going to be invalidated, is it? So here we go then, Ranga crosses the line, it's pole for now.
Done it so far,
but
I think he lost a bit of time in that last sector.
Crispy's only just gone on an out Jam, so I'm not sure if
he's not going to make it, no way.
Round.
No way.
Darnell is on a lap that he invalidated. Is Beast on a lap? Beast has just finished a lap. 31.7 for him, so it won't be pole for Beast today.
Something like Ranga at the moment.
Isn't a bad place to start. Beans on a lap, so we'll go on board with him.
Yeah, we've got all the drivers starting their laps now. Yeah, Crispy's not going to improve on his lap, but that's going to be a good one to do. That's going to be a good time for him.
I think Jocko will be the last driver round, so hopefully he's had that DRS fixed, although I think he might actually be on a lap now, so hopefully for his sake the DRS has been fixed.
Yeah, it looks like it was.
I'd imagine it has.
Yeah,
with that lap then Jocko goes P5 on a 31.9.
Think he's going again, he might as well. Beast is not improving either.
Doesn't feel as though he could have improved. Beast just finished a lap, mate, so...
Oh, yeah. Don't mind that.
He didn't go
Top Goon the next up. Doesn't improve from 7th. Slight improvement on his time, but he stays where he was. Southerners up 2.5 tenths through the first sector. Check this out, it's half a second up.
Oh, Beans a long way down, Jam. So we'll go to someone else, and Southerners is 4 tenths up, Jam. Through the middle sector. As it stands,
checks off a second. I'll keep an eye on him.
To move him at one place. Oh, we'll quickly go to check then, actually, because he's slightly further ahead than his teammate. Let's see if he can improve on his lap. Oh, it was P5 at the moment then.
Pips Jocko. Being not improving. Top Goon not improving.
Southerners cross the line. Southerners goes P4, Jam.
Ahead of his brother.
Southerners P4. And the final driver on a lap is going to be EOR Hamilton, who seems to be on a pretty good lap himself here. So I wonder if we could see EOR Hamilton up into P4. Ooh, P3 for Hamilton. Whoa, what a lap.
Wow.
What a lap from the Renault driver, and it is very close. As you say, less than 6 tenths between the 10 of them. But it is going to be Ranga on pole for the US Grand Prix. It is confirmed. Yes. Ranga to Div 1. He got pole. Those were the conditions. That
We're,
were
we're
made
being
about
we're
2
being
minutes
asked
ago.
we're being asked what Southerners connections like. If anyone's watching that's in the lobby, looks absolutely fine
to me.
from where we are.
Yep, nothing wrong with it. Nothing wrong with it. So then, Ranger on pole for the US Grand Prix here in
Guess about
SLR
that.
Division
Got a prediction right.
2. Crispy, my prediction for pole, he's P2 on the grid, and then Ewa Hamilton, perhaps a bit of a surprise, P3, although having said that, it is very tight there at the top 5, 2 tenths between them all. P4 is Beast in the Racing Point, and 5th Southerners in the Williams, so he's got that full-time seat, and he's showing Sir Frank what he can do with that performance, I think. 6th, J Darnell. 7th is check this out in the other Williams. So very promising performance from the Williams boys at the moment.
Now we get the rain. I mean, if Ranga didn't go get a wet setup,
what was he doing?
Yeah, and I
Getting
mean,
a
if
dry
he's got a
one?
wet setup on, and he's gone and put it on pole, then that's a fantastic lap from Ranga. A 31.6 on a wet setup. That's
worried
great.
there, mate.
That's. Do you know what? I am a bit. Because the best I've done so far has
very
been
good
like.
lap, very good lap.
I think the best I've done is a 31 flat, 30.9. I mean, wet setup, you're not exactly going to be pushing it, are you? I think the best I'd probably do on a wet setup would be like a 0.3, 0.4. So I think if that doesn't say Ranga to elite to you, I don't know what does. Oh, he says he got kicked out. Oh, he hasn't got a wet setup. He got kicked out. Oh, he got kicked out the game. Oh,
Dry setup. That explains it.
Still, a 31.6 on a dry setup is no joke of a lap.
Crispy's actually got a wet setup. That's what
Does
it
he?
is.
Does he? Right.
I have no idea, mate. I've got no idea.
Oh, boy, Harry,
It
do you
is.
know what the strategy is?
It is full wet. You know what? I'd imagine that the strategy is going to be. It's going to be something like wets.
Well, let's
probably for Inters, actually.
Keep an eye on these bottom
to
10 drivers. Just check what tyres they're on.
Assuming that it does dry up as we've been told. I'd imagine wets to inters. I mean, if it dries up a lot, then it could be wets to inters to softs or something. Or we could see someone trying to stretch the wets the whole wet period, although I wouldn't recommend it. But yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure the drivers in these conditions don't actually get a choice as to what tyres they start on,
no,
James. So I don't think we'll be seeing anyone starting on the inters.
No.
Let alone the softs or the slicks.
That change to inters though, and when it does come, that's going to be a crucial part of the race, I should think. Getting that right could gain you lots of time.
As soon as the track is not even dry per se, as soon as it's not wet enough for wets, you really do notice it. The tyres will start overheating and the back end will be going everywhere. But I mean, as soon as you'll know when it's time for the inters, I'd imagine, and as you say, that could really be a crucial part in the race, because obviously if someone tries an undercut or stays out a little too long, it really could be detrimental for their result. We've got hopefully only a couple more minutes now till the start of the race. We've not had someone ready up early for the second week in a row, so that's quite nice.
Okay, so
yeah, there's not a lot to talk about because strategy is kind of still up in the air whilst it's raining. I mean, we've been over the championship.
Beast's on a dry setup as well, Harry. So that would sort of explain why he's not looking forward to it. Crispy said he wasn't looking forward to the race earlier. I don't know, maybe Clock is down in 13th, Callum McKeon down in 11th.
Could explain
those could be the sorts of people. Yeah, those could be the sorts of people that are on wet setups.
How come Callum McKeon's 11th?
That's where he
Was he in
qualified.
11th in the
Yeah, that's where he qualified. Yeah.
Was he?
Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough. I thought he was I thought he was next to Clock.
No. Silly Bunny was always in
Apparently not.
between.
Oh, okay. The real question is then, maybe that explains the Red Bulls. Maybe they both have wet setups on, and they're the only two to have a wet setup. I mean, it could be. I'm not putting my money on it, but it could be.
To be honest, in the wet though, it's not always about the setup, is it? It's about how much confidence you've got in the car, how much confidence you've got under braking, on the power, and obviously just limiting the amount of mistakes you make. Because one mistake in the wet is pretty unforgiving, as I'm sure we will find out at some point in this race.
Make a bit of a mistake in the dry, like if you go a bit too aggressive on the traction and kick the back end round a bit, and it's not the end of the world. You would hopefully be able to keep in control of the car, but if you do it in the way, it's even more difficult. I wouldn't be surprised if we see some sort of incident into turn 1 as well, given that not only is it a very wide corner with a very slow apex speed, but also it's wet, so maybe braking points aren't quite as well known as they are in the dry. But as
Put
you
your
say,
money in
we
for that
are
one safety car.
about to go for the formation lap. Race predictions then, Jam. We've got a Baggy fan in the chat. He's saying Southerners are going to finish in the top 5 come the end of the race. Have we got anyone? Who do we think is going to win? Who would you put your money on?
I'm gonna say.
It's tricky because
I
I
really
think
don't
every
know.
driver that you perhaps would think seemingly has a dry setup on. Sorry, I don't know Hamilton's setup status. So if he's running, I mean, it could be after all of this that there's only a handful actually running a wet setup, and that it really isn't that big a difference. But let's wait and see. Hamilton is for some reason going extremely slowly on the formation lap, although on the contrary, Ranger is going extremely quickly. So I don't quite know what's going on there. I think the timings are slightly
as well, Harry.
messed up.
Sure, I'm gonna say.
I'm gonna go with Crispy. I tipped him for pole, and I was, not too far off. But I think he'll go one better in the race and get the win. He needs it as well for the championship.
I'm gonna go out on one here.
Oh dear, Freeman's predicting a mega lap 1 crash.
Just because I want to spice things up a bit, I'm gonna say Clock's gonna win the race. There you go. Heard it here first.
Ooh, interesting.
Just because
if Clock wins the race,
that'd be really
P13.
For the
that would be an incredible drive.
Yeah, and it would be an incredible drive.
It would be brilliant for his own championship.
Do you know what? At the end of the day, you could literally say any of these drivers could win the race, and on one day they probably would, and on another they'd probably crash on the first lap. That's how it goes with our predictions. We'll always predict someone. We'll predict someone who is looking quick. Like, it'd be easy to say, Ranger's going to win the race, but you never know what's going to happen, do you? Just a bit of fun with these predictions. Freeman says he gave Liam his wet setup, so he thinks he'll win. I'll tell you what, if Liam does win, then we'll have Freeman to thank for at least some part of it. But yeah, anyway, we'll get down to the racing then, shall we?
Alright then, I'm looking forward to this one. I feel like it's going to be a really, really exciting race, and I'm somewhat apprehensive for turn 1, but obviously we'll have to wait and see. Is the game going to be kind and offer us a vaguely decent camera angle?
Might have to bring up
it doesn't seem like it.
They all look a bit naff. Oh, here we go.
We've got to go down to like. Oh, we're all right now. Yeah. Okay. Here we go. 5 red lights and a very short pause there for the lights. They go up pretty quickly, and it seems as though Ranger's made a very nice start. He covers off the inside going into turn 1. He's going up the inside of Hamilton, and I think he's lost out a little bit from it. Southerners up to P4.
That's the cleanest.
It's actually pretty clean.
That's the cleanest first corner I think I've seen. There was literally like no contact at all, no debris anywhere.
We got Jocko and Darnell, sorry, Jam, getting
Wow.
side by side through the S's, as are both the McLarens. Both the McLarens going side by side through the S's there. I think Clocker's just about got the move done on Monkey, but Monkey's having a little look back up the inside there of his teammate. Both of them running the number 22 in the McLaren, so it's pretty hard to tell the difference between the both of them, but I think Clock has now just about got the move done, and already, Jam, Crispy right on the back of Ranga.
Clock going for a late lunge on Rockamad as well. Yeah, not a single instant off that start. As I noted, I didn't see any debris, no one spun, everyone's kept it on the circuit, and everyone looks like they've got their full car intact as well. So yeah, great start from these boys.
Already, Jam, a bit of a gap forming from the top two to Hamilton in third. Hamilton has now got Southerners pretty close to the back of him. Southerners made a pretty nice start, got himself up into P4 ahead of Beast, I believe. Callum McKeon as well, Jam.
Jocko's had a bit of a moment
already from
he was
P11 on the grid.
He was just in with Jocko. Jocko had a bit of a moment. Just it blaze up 7.
Ooh, Darnell.
Early indication of who's got a wet setup.
Yeah, there you go. I perhaps was right then in some parts, as I believe Jurassic Blaze is right on the back of Clock as well, actually.
Got Ranga holding the lead though, Crispy pressuring him right on the back of that Alpha.
Oh, Beans, sorry Jam, Beans just lost the back end a little bit there through the penultimate corner. It's allowed Clock pretty
Have we got someone in the pits?
clear passage through.
Division
Yeah, we've
is in the
got,
pits.
Division.
I'll try and see if he has any damage, but it's not letting me change my camera type, which is great. Oh, he's retired.
He's just retired.
Oh, that's a
shame.
interesting one. Yeah.
Okay.
Wow, it looks very,
Yeah,
very
it's
tricky
Summoners
at the
Jam.
moment.
Summoners has just lost the back end a little bit through the S's, and Czech has made a move on him, so Czech's put himself up into P4 there, just
Do you know what?
getting past Summoners at obviously his teammates' expense there.
I just made that noise for no reason. I saw the yellow flag in sector 1. I thought someone had gone off, but it's just that AI car, isn't it? Yeah, Crispy is looking quicker than Ranga at the moment, to be honest.
A little bit twitchy on the
Oh,
exit.
there is someone up at the back. That's Monkey.
Ooh, saw a McLaren and
Yeah,
heart was in my mouth then.
He spun just at the start of sector 2. I think he's kept it out of the walls though. I can't see any visible damage to his McLaren, so he should just be able to get back going again.
That's good. Oh, Crispy just catching up to the back of Ranga then into the braking zone, but he wasn't close enough to make a move there. Beast has got up the inside of Southerners in the meantime. What a move then from Beast. Puts himself up into P5. Very
Got
nice.
Silly
move
Bunny
there.
right on the back
Up
of
the
him.
Inside. Oh, Southerners a little bit loose there with the back end. Short shifting or shifting down to first gear for that extra rotation. And these,
okay. Knew it was coming at some point.
he's lost the back end a little bit.
Jocko's right on the back of Callum McKeon as well, Harry. Sorry.
It'll be interesting to see Clock's charge through the field, as he's going to get P1, isn't he, Jam? As Darnell's very wide through the penultimate corner, and Bunny goes on the inside then, so Silly Bunny up into P9.
As I predicted, Crispy was looking quick. He's the fastest man out on the circuit at the moment, setting the fastest lap, and he's just sat on the back of that Alpha. They're pulling out a gap, these front two, gradually away from Hamilton, but it looks like maybe Crispy takes a big chunk of that out of that S, but maybe a little mistake from Ranga, and Crispy will be there to pounce seemingly. Another driver's note.
We've seen that already actually.
Pretty good start as well as check this out. Oh, as we have
we got Ferrari around.
spun.
Yeah, we've already seen actually, Jam, quite a few drivers just losing the back end slightly, and it's allowed another driver through here, as Top Gooner has had a bit of a poor start there,
spun as
unfortunately
well.
for him.
Spun where he
And
spun in quali.
positions, Rockamad has now spun as well.
Oh, he's
So
struggling for grit.
a few drivers have gone then.
Spun again.
Check. Having a little look at Hamilton, as was Crispy on Ranga, but neither went for a move.
Jocko, Darnell and Bunny all
as well,
tussling.
Jam, sorry. Callum McKeon is past Southerners as well, so Southerners gone a little bit backwards, and since getting up into P4, Darnell having a look at Bunny, but
sneaks
Bunny
on the outside.
On Jocko up the inside, Jam. Jocko up the inside of Darnell. Didn't notice that, but Jocko
Lovely move.
Just about got the move made there. Very good move from him indeed. As the Mercedes driver then puts himself up into P9. Darnell having a little look around the outside there, but that's not really an overtaking spot. Andy gets a time penalty for his struggles. That's not ideal, as Callum McKean now sets the fastest lap of the race, a 55.4.
Interesting to see if we'll see any sort of swap from these Racing Point drivers.
I'd be surprised with Beast ahead of Callum McKean.
Yeah, Callum McKean looks quicker at the moment though, Harry. Quite considerably. We've got Baggy fan as well asking what happened to Division. We don't actually know. It just looked like he went into the pits and retired.
Yeah.
We couldn't see any damage, but there might have been some. So we have
two very identical,
potentially
two very identical looking pairs here in terms of their gaps to one another. Crispy right on the back of Ranger has his check right on the back of Hamilton. Nice. We could see a move here for the lead, Jam. Crispy right on the back of Ranger as Top Gunner and Predators have had a bit of a coming together, I think, Jam, because they both lost some time there. And
Predators has lost a bit of wind as well, so yeah, that would suggest a bit of a coming
Callum
together.
McKean, Jam. Callum McKean.
Yeah, they've done the switch on the straight, Harry. They've done the switch on the straight. I think that was the right call for them. Although Beast is fighting this championship, Callum McKean's a lot quicker. Yeah, Bunny's flying through the field as well.
In terms of the Racing Points, then perhaps if Callum McKean can sort of get past some guys and perhaps try and hold them up for Beast's benefit, it could see them not only gain for Beast in the drivers but also in the constructors. And as you say, Bunny siding his way through the field. Then I wonder if perhaps he has got a wet setup on, as he wasn't quite up there in quali, but he's already made up 5 positions here in the race. Callum McKean as well making up 6. Jurassic Blaze, another driver to move up quite a few positions. He is up 7, and yet we still haven't seen this pass for the move. We keep predicting it, but it's not quite arrived yet, as Bunny sits
right on the back of Hamilton
the race.
For the final podium place. Ooh, Crispy looked extremely close to the back end of that Alpha there. Under braking into turn 1, as we have a second pitter of the race. Beans in. I'll keep an eye on what tyres he's going to go on to. He's on Inters, Harry. Takes a gamble for Inters.
Oh, really?
There's a pitting as well.
Drier line forming, but I wouldn't say it's dry enough for Inters. I'd be
might be worth the gamble for them though, further down the field. Yeah, I'll keep an eye on Bean's progress. There is quite a large dry area in some parts of the track.
We've got a big group forming though, actually here, Jam. I mean, the whole of the top 11 are really covered only by about 10 or so seconds, and Clock at the back of this, Ranger at the front. It's really not too bad for Clock in terms of his position on the racetrack at the moment. Bunny has passed Beast,
struggling in the wet.
Some sort of problem here.
I think he's
not got any visible damage. He did make contact with someone on the first lap, but he hasn't got any visible damage. But Bunny has already gone past him.
Jocko and Darnell scrapping again. They have been doing so
trading positions
since the opening laps of the race.
Pretty much the whole race thus far. I'll try and hold it around the outside. We've got
Rockamad again. He's on wets again. We could be seeing our second retirement.
Oh, Jocko and Darnell side by side through the right-hander. Darnell just squeezing Jocko out, but it was a good move there from the Alpha driver.
This could be a great call from Bean, Harry. Purple through the middle sector.
Beast pitting, Darnell pitting, Jocko pitting, and Clock as well. I think Clock had to do that really as soon as he saw Beast come into pit. Clock can't really afford Beast to gain any time to him, and so we've got loads in now. We've got
Bean might jump on more though, Harry.
Into the pits, and Bean might jump them all.
This.
I think he might here, Jam.
What a great strategic move from SLR Bean.
Oh yeah, purple through the final 2 sectors. Oh, he's going to come up miles ahead of him, Jam.
He might take the net race lead here.
Oh, there we go then.
If he's
going
quick
to be
enough.
side by side with Beast. Tries to go around the outside. Oh, he's done it. What a move.
Oh,
what a move from Bean round the outside of Beast. What a brilliant overtake there
He's
from
coming
Bean.
alive
That's
in the wet conditions.
really good for him. That could put him up into a net race lead here. Well, his pace seems really promising, it has to be said. Hamilton has closed up to the front two of Ranga and Crispy. And Czech is still with them. Czech's still with them. Callum McKeon as well as caught up to the back of them. So it's now a five-way fight here for the lead. All these drivers separated by only a couple of seconds here. And I would be very surprised if we didn't see all of these guys pitting as well this lap. They can't really afford to stay out too much longer. And with it seemingly getting drier already, only 6 laps into this race, could we see
Williams left the session? They're trying to get back
dry towards the end? Yeah, I just got slightly distracted by that. Kind of lost my train of thought there, as we've got Rockamad off yet again through sector 1. Ranga is pitting, Crispy's pitting, Hamilton's pitting, and we've got a VSC. Oh no! Oh,
wow,
that is
what's that for?
Rotten luck. I think Rockamad's just sort of ice skating or something around there. He's gone off again.
That's unfortunate. That's ruined it for Bean.
That's rotten luck then for Bean and Beast, Darnell, Jocko, Clock. Basically all the drivers that had pitted the previous lap. Although having said that, if they've gained a significant enough advantage, it may still work out for them. But no, it's definitely not them. Ranga holds his lead.
Check this out, it's jumped up to second in the pits, Harry.
Yeah, Crispy has lost out a lot from that. Check this out, is now P2. Bean is going to move up to, is it going to be P7? It's going to be P7 then for Bean. So the Haas driver's now P6 and P7.
Still gained a lot from
I've got to admit,
and he's right on the back.
I'm pretty pleased with that. And he's trying to go around the outside of his teammate, but he thinks better of it. I'm not sure how Gunter would have felt if they'd put some blows there. So perhaps Bean was just thinking about that in the back of his mind. But yeah, as you say, then check this out, has jumped both Crispy and Hamilton in the pit stops, and to be honest, I'm not particularly upset with that, because it did seem as though he was slightly faster than Hamilton, although Crispy is seemingly slightly faster than him as well. I mean, Crispy was sticking very much so to the back of Wrangler, so I wonder if we'll see Crispy getting back up into P2. It does seem as though Wrangler is somewhat in control of this race though at the moment.
Yeah, interestingly enough, after all the pit stop drama, Clock's still down in P11. Although Beast is only in P8, and there's only about 3 seconds separating the two of them, so that could get spicy some point later on in this race.
All the drivers now then onto the inters, as Rockman is the last car to pit. There's a little bit of a gap then between those front 5 and Bunny in the Haas. He had started to gain it, but he's obviously lost out in the pit stop phase there, and the gap's gone back to what it was really. Other than that, there's not been too much else going on with the gaps. As you say, Clock still then at the back of this train, so that's a little unfortunate for him. I feel as though if there hadn't have been a VSC there, Bean and the rest of the guys behind him probably would have jumped those front 5.
Bean would have come out in the lead.
Yeah, but it's unfortunate, but there's not a lot that they can do about it. Ranga is starting to extend the gap to Czech in P2 slightly, as Crispy picks up a penalty, so that's not great for him. Liam's back in, that's good. As soon as I said Ranga's extending the gap, Czech, sorry, has pulled it back down slightly, so there you go. I wonder, Jam, if it's gonna go back, if it's gonna become dry towards the end of this race. It's still raining pretty heavily though, so I wouldn't be completely sold on the idea. But Callum McKeon, I've just noticed, is gonna go for a move on the inside of Crispy. I just noticed the gap was coming down quite significantly down that straight. They're going side by side now then as they go into the 3rd sector. And
contacts, and he's round. Crispy's round.
Oh, Crispy's round. I couldn't see it on board with Callum McKean. I couldn't even see Crispy's car, so
No, I was on board with
make of that what you will.
Yeah,
that's
well.
allowed. That's allowed Bunny through, and Bean and Beast, all three through. Crispy then was battling with J Darnell on the exit of that corner.
Darnell trying it round the outside.
To P8.
Yeah, didn't quite have enough speed to make the move. No, I was on board with Crispy.
Oh,
it looked like there was just enough room given by Callum McKean, and Crispy, the contact system of the game didn't do him any favours, and he sort of had a couple bites at the side of that racing point and then went round. It looked like a racing incident to me, but I'm sure the stewards will be having a look at that later on.
Yeah, so Czech had just set the fastest lap of the race, although it was just beaten there by Bunny. But Czech is now right on the back of Ranga, so I wonder if perhaps in these intermediate conditions the Williams driver is perhaps slightly more comfortable with it, as Crispy's got another penalty.
This day's getting from bad to worse.
Yeah, it's gone horribly wrong in the space of a lap here. Bunny then got the fastest lap, and he started to gain a little bit to Callum McKean, although that gap's then extended a bit. His teammate Bean, though, has definitely dropped off the back of him after they came out of the pits almost side by side. Check again. No one's managed to get close enough to Ranga then down this back straight. He seemingly got a brilliant run out of that hairpin every lap so far, and he's been unchallenged as of yet through that.
Chick's got all his ERS
down
though.
the straight. Sorry, he has got.
Might as well
ERS.
just
What's Ranga?
go for it.
Ranga's still at 70%.
Yeah, Chet might as well just try and burn some of this battery though. Get that move done, because you can save it quite easily in the wet conditions, especially around a track like Kota. It's quite easy to save your battery. Clock still
has made it up into P10.
Yeah, but
he's got past,
stuck behind
he's got past Jocko, but I mean, he's getting a point at the moment. And with Beast down in P7, it's not too bad for Clock at the moment.
More importantly though, with Ranga in P1,
slightly drier in terms of the track chance.
With Ranga in P1, Constructors is going to go on to Brazil at this rate. Obviously, don't want to say anything too early, but it's looking like that so far. Ranga's looking pretty comfortable out in the lead as well. Harry is keeping the gap to Czech. He's keeping it sort of large enough so that Czech's not close enough to make a move on him, and it's working well for him so far.
He's getting very good exits as well out of the slower speed corners. He's seemingly in control of it at the moment as Darnell gets the time penalty. Yeah, so we've had Predators then just setting the fastest lap. So really, I don't think the pace is that. I don't think there's that big a difference in terms of pace. Then really covering the whole field, it's seemingly sort of perhaps a little bit of consistency, perhaps that the guys at the front just have over some of those towards the latter end of the field. Although it's really too early to call. The track is getting drier without the rain easing up as well, which is slightly interesting. But there you go. There is very much not a dry line, but a drier line appearing on the track. Although
not much of an indication from the clouds that it's going to get drier though.
Nowhere near slick, is it? But,
there's a few lighter
Rockerman
but looking pretty
into
dark.
the pit then, so he's
I should imagine he's just going to retire.
Yeah, and he's going to retire.
That's
not been
unfortunate.
a particularly fruitful 10 laps for the Toro driver, has it? So he's
check this out, goes fastest. So Harry in P2, beaten by Clock, who I've been watching for the last lap or so. He's looking quick. Clock. He needs to get this move done on J Darnell though. He seems to be slightly stuck behind the Alpha.
Southerners is going.
Yeah,
he's battling Jocko. Jocko's just off the track there on the exit of turn 1. Southerners has got the move done though. It's really interesting though, because obviously it's so close, these sort of top 12 even really, that if you make a mistake, like if Ranga were to make a mistake, he could drop, you know, a good 3-4 positions just
well, yeah,
one
we
mistake,
saw that,
as could anyone
with Crispy
in this train.
was battling for P4 and ended up dropping down to 8th.
Callum McKeon, Jam, is right on the back of Hamilton here. I feel like we could be seeing the Racing Point driver putting himself up into P2 here. He's already alongside going into the braking zone. He's got the inside line for the corner, slows it down nicely. Hamilton opts for the switchback, but it's not going to work for him this time. And Callum McKeon, sorry, moves up into P2. And I wonder if he's going to try and challenge Czech now, and maybe he fancies a go at Ranga himself, as Czech has, Czech has not managed to get past Ranga. So as had Crispy not managed to get past Ranga in that first stint either.
Beast just went up the inside of Bean as well, Harry, for P6. Yeah, it looked like quite a nice move from Beast. He maybe slightly forced Bean out, but it was clean, no contact was made, so it looked like a harsh but fair move from Beast.
Yeah, so Scott in the chat, he thinks Callum McKeon 3 in a row now. With the pace that he's
quick,
showing,
doesn't
he did just set the fastest lap. I mean, considering starting down in P11 was it, I think it would be a tremendous drive to get up into P1, but I'd still feel pretty confident in Ranga at the moment. Although having said that, Czech is as close as he has been really to the back of the Alfa Romeo driver, but again, Ranga just getting the traction out of the corners when he needs to. It's making it very difficult here for Czech to make a move.
He's got so much ERS, he's got all of his ERS to use.
I think he's running slightly higher wings as well, Czech, because he's losing time.
Crispy and Bean as well, Harry, battling for P7.
Oh yep, they're side by side almost. Who's gonna break later then out of the two of them? It's Bean.
Oh, he goes in too deep though, and Crispy's going to slide at the inside. Bean's going to try and hold it though. He'll have the inside for the next corner, and that will slowly turn to the outside again.
I think Crispy's got this one.
Yeah, Crispy's going to hold it the inside. He's going to do the same move that Beast did the lap before, so Bean losing 2 positions in the same corner 2 laps in a row. And now Darnell's going to be licking his lips, watching this going down. Bean seems to be struggling a bit, Harry, after making that early strategic move to get himself up the field.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say perhaps struggling. I'd just say maybe not quite got the pace that some of these other guys have. I mean, he doesn't necessarily seem to be struggling, as Callum McKeon has set the fastest lap yet again, and he is now right on the back of this fight for the lead. Flying. Although he's just gone slightly deep into turn 1 there, but it's not going to be too crucial on his race. Clock then, just to keep an eye on his progress, seemingly slightly stuck in P10 at the moment.
Yeah, I've been watching on board with the Clock quite a lot. I can sort of feel as though he's getting slightly frustrated because he looks quicker than these guys in front of him, but he just can't quite get close enough to Darnell on the straight.
It's going to be difficult, I think, to really get a true idea of his pace when obviously he's kind of not stuck, but kind of, you know, not really able to overtake, as I think Blaze there just had a bit of a spin through the first set. So Czech is very close to Ranga here. I wonder if he's going to go for a move. Not quite close enough. I think it's going to get to the point where I wouldn't say Czech's necessarily being held up here by Ranga, but obviously if he's not getting really ever close enough to make a move here, we could just see him just getting more frustrated as the race goes on. Ranga then left the door open into that corner, but Czech opted not to go for it.
Darnell got past Bean as well, Harry. We missed that. Bean losing another position
that's been
in the
done
same
on Bean, but I'm sure he won't be too disappointed by that.
Bean's gonna fly it back, is he? Oh, he's not quite got enough speed.
He was having a little look.
Czech right on the back of Ranga
again.
I think it's now or never. He needs to make this move.
Got pretty good straight line speed though, but I think Czech's got to go for it at some point, surely.
He's not done it.
He seems to be later on the brakes as well. He seems to be better on the brakes than Ranga. I feel like
he had to
try and go for this now. I think he probably did, didn't he? He does seem to be better on the brakes, but Ranga's better on the traction. And whilst he's seemingly not had the best couple of exits onto these corners. I really feel like Czech should have gone for it, as he lost the back end slightly
He's
through
going to be
the
vulnerable
S's
to
there,
Callum
and
McKeon
that's,
now as well, I think.
yeah, stunted his progress slightly. As Callum McKeon, as you say, is very close to this battle now. He's getting himself involved. I'm really, Czech needs to get this move done on Ranga and try and pull away, because Ranga's already shown that it's not easy to overtake him. So I feel like if Czech gets past him, Callum McKeon will find it equally as difficult to get the move done.
Yeah, been dropping off that group that he was with earlier. Clock's going to be looking to get past him relatively soon, I think. Has Czech gone for it, Harry?
Goes slightly deep, Jam. No, Ranga went slightly deep. Czech had a half look there to try and sort of push his way through up the inside, but nothing was ever really on, and Czech didn't even really go for it. The Ferrari's screaming in the chat saying that they really need a safety car, which I think you'd have to agree with. The Ferrari's then not quite showing the pace that they had been in recent weeks, which is, yeah, it's a shame for them. But more importantly, I feel like we've got to see this move done by Czech.
Yeah, I don't really
I'm not criticising him in any way here, but yeah, I was going to say
he's not made any mistakes. He's driven a faultless race, but for me, he just needs to use his ERS to get past Ranga.
He seems to be more confident in the brakes, and that's nothing against Ranga either, because Ranga's getting very good exits. But whilst he's sort of got this confidence in the braking zones, I really feel like Czech should, you know, just have a little look. I mean, they're not going to lose out too much from it, even if he has a little peek up the inside, because Ranga will leave in the room. I mean, pretty much every driver would leave the room if you have a look. I mean, it's not like Czech's terribly far away going into the braking zones, as all he loses, not really loses, he goes a little bit loose on the back end and picks up a time penalty, as does Callum McKeon. I've yet to see Ranga get a time penalty, so I really feel like Czech has got to make this move.
Oh, Callum McKeon diving at the inside.
Oh, he goes in deep because Callum McKeon is up his inside, as you say.
I think
now going side by side, it's a drag race.
Too long to do it, and it could come back to bite him.
Yeah, Callum McKeon's going to get the move. Oh, Czech
the late brakes. He goes in very deep. Doesn't quite get it slowed down in time, but he's going to have the inside.
Going to just about hold the position. Callum
Puts
McKeon
the corner a little bit.
Prioritising the exit here, and he's not close enough to make a move.
He's defending well there, I think, Czech.
It's giving Ranga a bit of respite there, actually. It's not really something that I'm sure either of these drivers particularly wanted to happen, but it just so happened that is what occurred. I mean, I really feel like the task at hand should be trying to get past Ranga here, but I mean, Ranga's not slow by any means. It just seems as though Czech has had the chance to get past him and perhaps not gone for it, and it's allowed the Renault of Hamilton and the Haas of Bunny to really close up to this group here.
Clock
has
not really as well, sorry Harry.
Or Bean's pitted jam. Yeah, Beast has not really been able to catch back up to this group. And he's now got Crispy right on the back of him. I wonder if Bean has sort of realised that it's not going to dry up and that it's going to be into the end of the race. Again, he could get a very good undercut here if the tyres do start to go off. But Callum McKeon is still setting purple sectors, so I'm not sure if that is entirely the case.
Ranga with a penalty, I think that's his first of the race.
It's interesting because like we had a race around the Spa the other night, and we weren't confident that the inters were going to last the duration of the race, and we pitted again, and then we had a few drivers with punctures on the final couple of laps. I mean, being perhaps not confident the tyres could go the distance and is hoping for something similar. It's going to be interesting. I don't really know what the tyre wear's like on the intermediates around here, but if it is the case that some of these drivers are going to be struggling with tyre wear towards the end of the race, if they do try and take these inters to the end, it really could play back into Bean's hands, as I think he's just looking to try and get that undercut again, which was so powerful in the first stint.
Well, yeah, I think especially in wet conditions, the undercut's always extremely powerful. If Bean can if Bean can set some good lap times here, he could be getting right back up to where he was earlier on in this stint. Not much happening really. Crispy on the back of Beast, check on the back of Ranga, but no moves really being made. That's one of the sort of downsides to these wet conditions. It's very difficult to actually overtake someone unless they make a mistake.
It's all about getting the traction out of the corners, and it seems as though they're all getting about the same levels of traction, which is really meaning that no one driver has a particular advantage over the other, and so it is really fairly stagnant in terms of the positions here.
I think,
although having said that, Check again getting close to the back of Ranga, but
again
on exit, Ranga pulling away.
I think if I was Czech here, I think going for the undercut would definitely be a gamble that would. I think it's worth the gamble going for the undercut. I think they'll have to pit again.
I'd personally only pit if you really didn't think the tyres were going to last.
If then,
you know,
I don't know.
It's difficult, isn't it? Because obviously you don't want to go that whole way and then get a puncture on the last lap, and you know, in hindsight, feel like you should have pitted us. Oh, Check.
I thought he might have gone for it.
Yeah, surely. I thought he was going to. Ranga had a poor exit and left the door open. Czech really should have just gone for it there, because again he was better on the brakes and he just nudged the back of Ranga as a result.
Or at least do a Fernando Alonso, just like show yourself up the inside and maybe see how Ranga reacts to it. Maybe force him into a mistake.
There's no harm in there's no harm in having a little look, is there? Again,
it's frustrating to watch
to close the gap again.
I'm sure Czech's doing everything he can to try and get past, but in the commentary box here, it's just frustrating to see, because it looks like he's the quicker driver, but he's just not quite going.
We want to see an overtake, all right? Nah,
I'd much
rather this be on display. Clean and competitive driving from all of these guys than someone going for a fairly ambitious move and taking both drivers out, as Callum McKeon unfortunately just picking himself up another penalty there, as Czech yet again through this first sector, closing in on the Alfa of Ranga. Are we going to see Ranga getting better traction though out of this little chicane? Not quite as much as he had done in previous laps, and Czech is reasonably close here to the Alfa Romeo driver. Again though, goes a little deep into that hairpin, and it's going to hamper his exit then onto the back straight. Bunny and Hamilton now have gained quite a considerable amount of time and closed up to the back of this group. These guys are going to be taking the Inter's 21 laps then, so that's a pretty long wait, and I'm sure the tyres won't be great towards the end of the race, but I've just noticed, I've been so distracted by this fight that it's actually stopped raining, Jam.
Yeah, it has. I think
we're going to see dries.
Talking about racecraft, it's been superb the whole race from everyone. I think we've considering it's been wet, we've not seen anywhere near as many instances we might have thought. But yeah, as you just touched on there, it does look like it could potentially be getting dry towards the end.
Now,
seems to be a nice dry line emerging.
Here's the question: if you were Klopp and you're, you know, somewhat stuck in P9 behind this group of cars and it's drying up, you're only going to be getting 2 points. So you're only at the moment, you know, even if you were to score no points, you'd only be losing 8 to your championship rival. Is it worth someone like Klopp gambling and pitting for softs perhaps before the others do? And I mean, if he did, he could gain considerably from it, as could, you know, perhaps someone like Silly Bunny, who's now at the back of this train. I think it'll be really interesting to see, because I think it is going to be dry by the end of this race.
I think it's got to be worth it. If you want to win a championship, it's all about taking risks, and sometimes those risks pay off, sometimes they don't.
Talking of risks, Czech is as close as he has been then to Ranga. Are we going to finally see a move for the lead? I think we might. I'm getting a little excited here. Gotta admit, we haven't seen an overtake for a fair few laps now. Oh, it's got to be, surely.
He's not going to do it.
No. Oh no.
Oh, Ranga goes in deep though.
Oh, Ranga goes deep. Oh no. Why didn't he go for it? Why didn't he go for it? Oh, come on. This is nothing against Czech, nothing against Czech in any
No,
way.
his racecraft
We just want to see
race.
we just want to see a move done for the lead, because it's been a really good battle so far.
Yeah.
It's been a really good battle without really any battling, which is kind of strange to say, but it's
the
definitely
level of
getting dry, but it's not quite slick yet.
No, the level of concentration and the performance these guys have been putting in, especially this top three, top four, it's just been brilliant this whole race. But yeah, we just want to see that move. We just want to see that risk being taken for the lead of this race. I think maybe still a couple laps till it will be dry enough for those dry tyres.
21 at the earliest, I'd say. 21 at the very earliest for slicks, and then it will be soft to the end for all of these drivers. So I think it could end up being a bit of a 5-lap sprint to the end in terms of.
Czech just seems to have so much more confidence
got left in this race. I'd say he's got confidence under brakes and sort of changing direction, but then on the traction, Ranga just seems to really excel and get great exits out of the majority of these corners here, as yet again Czech is very close to Ranga. Are we going to see it this time? He takes a bit of a better line through the hairpin than what he had been doing, but Ranga again optimising the exit. He's not as close as he was the previous lap, so I don't think we're going to see a move this time. Scott in the chat saying Bean's going to be the first to pit for softs. Unfortunately, his Ranga goes deep.
Oh, he goes in very deep.
Oh, here we go then. He goes deep. Czech's having a look around the outside. Trying to hold it. Ranga's got he's got the line though, and Czech wasn't close enough to then go up the inside again. I was just going to say, Bean, unfortunately, his gamble of pitting for another set of inters hasn't paid off, as it's definitely drying up here.
Still too wet for the soft tyres, so it's still too wet for the dry tyres.
Still, if you look, the spray coming off Ranga.
Oh, he's trying to bait him.
He fakes it. Yeah, you can see the spray coming off the back of the Alpha there. It's definitely still not slick.
Darnell taking the gamble.
Having said that, Darnell has pitted.
Oh, he's going to be relaying all this information back to his teammate.
I'm not convinced. I wonder if this is a bit of Alpha tactics here, but I'm not convinced that.
I don't think it's dry enough.
Dry.
I mean, it's worth a gamble for Darnell. He's not going to get anything out of this race if it didn't work. He was down in, I think, P9, so might as well go for it. Fair play to him, but
not really losing too much from it. Again though, Czech is still actually just set his fastest sector 1 there, so the inters I'd imagine still the tyre of choice.
Still too wet for me, but it's got to
still be too wet. I mean, when you're in Darnell's position, you'd imagine it's got to be worth it. I don't know if you want to just perhaps keep an eye on that jump. Oh, we've had a bit of lag, spike there. Yeah, just had a big lag spike. Czech is yet again on the back of Ranga though, but I still.
Darnell's struggling.
I don't think he's going to go for it. Is he struggling a lot?
Yeah,
it's not going to be.
Czech
back.
He goes
Czech
to the inside late.
Oh, he has a look. Ranga goes in deep, leaves the gap for Czech.
Gonna try it around the outside like he did the lap before. He's just not quite got that grip on the outside.
Is he going to have a look at the inside into this corner?
Thinks better of it. I think that's smart of Czech. He's been driving smart the whole race, and he's continued that there. I'll flip back to Darnell.
Darnell's lost a lot of time, Harry, because I'm just thinking it's getting close though, because they definitely seem to be still struggling a little bit on the power. Ranga fakes again to the pits. Czech thought about it, but then when he saw Ranga was faking, he backed out again. I feel like Ranga's going to do that every lap until he does actually come in, and it could actually catch Czech out perhaps. But there you go. So again, it's the same top 8, 9, 10 as we've had for the vast majority of this race. It's strange because without any overtaking, it's still been a very exciting race to watch.
They've kept us on our toes, these boys at the front.
Yeah, we focused quite a lot on this battle at the front, but it's definitely been an interesting watch. Scott is praising Ranga's defending, and I'd have I'd have to agree. He has been defending pretty well. He's put his car in the right
Oh,
places.
Hamilton's
lost
out.
it.
Safety car.
Oh no, Hamilton's lost it. Oh, that is unfortunate. The Renault driver then is out of the race.
I think they will all pit now for
softs. I think they've got to pit for softs, surely, because it will probably be dry by the time it comes in.
It's not gamble and stay out.
Jocko's got a penalty for speeding into the safety car, which is unfortunate for him. It's still not dry enough, is it? I think we can agree on that. It's not dry enough for slicks, but they've got to.
2-3 laps
I think they've got to. Yeah, it'll be a good 3-4 minutes by the time the
someone
safety
will.
car
Yeah,
comes in.
yeah.
I think.
I feel like
gamble,
if someone
isn't it? But I
gambles,
think you've got to.
I feel like if someone gambles and stays out, it could work brilliantly. Yeah, Darnell's struggling. He's struggling a lot.
Yeah. I think you've got to, haven't you? Really? Because it's drying up.
It's such a tricky one to call. I'd hate to be at the front of this train making the decision.
It's everyone else behind
just following, can't they?
It's not dry, but they've got to pit, I think, just because of the track is clearly drying up then. So Ranger's really slowing them up here.
What's he gonna do?
What he's gonna do?
He
stays out. Check pits. He stays out. Check pits. Can McKean stays out. Bunny stays out. Beast comes into the pits. Crispy pits. Clock pits. Summoners pits.
This is exciting.
There's three have stayed out. 3 have opted to stay out on the inter. And in fact, Jam, this could be interesting because if these guys on the softs actually struggle on their outlap, they could really lose out. Oh, Check's gone onto inters, Jam. As is Crispy. Oh no. Oh no.
They've selected the wrong tyres.
I think they've selected. I think they must have done.
Surely.
Oh, Beast. Oh, Check's just absolutely sent it coming out of the pits. Beast is now in P7 on the soft. If it dries up, Beast could win this race. Oh my.
And Clock could get P2.
Oh wow.
Who would have thought it?
I can't say I've seen Clock get a penalty. So,
yeah, I think Scott summarised it brilliantly here. He says epic ending here. Yeah, epic ending definitely coming up to this.
It's pretty much dry now as well.
Through. Yeah, it's going to be dry enough by the time the safety car comes in.
Check, Crispy and Southerners. Oh, Williams have had an absolute mare on the pit stops here, and seemingly I think they're going to lose out because of this. Although Beast is still struggling a little bit, it has to be said. But yeah, I feel like it's going to be dry by the end of this race. It's all going to really depend on when the safety car comes in, because if the safety car doesn't come in for another lap or two, Hot Goon has retired in the pits. If the safety car doesn't come in for another lap or two, then it might be slicks, kind of dry enough for slicks, but I still don't think it is at the moment. I mean, there's still a lot of spray kicking up off the tyres. It could never get dry enough, and then in which case Czech could actually be in a very good position.
It's drying up, Harry. It's drying up definitely. It looks like
it's drying up, but there's still considerable spray coming off of the tyres.
However, if it does get dry enough, I now believe that our net top 3 is Beast, Clock, and Darnell, who's gone very deep at the end of the back straight. Then we'd have Monkey 4th, Ferrari's 5th and 6th, so that's strategic.
Could be worth
gamble.
Someone like Bean pitting if he can. Bunny fakes to the pits again.
Bean could pit and
probably come out ahead of Darnell actually if he were to pit.
Southerners, I think he's going to pit from his inters.
He is, as is Southerners. I think Bean must be listening to the stream. Hello, Bean. Good call, mate. I think that was the right thing to do there.
They might get out ahead of Darnell here, so
yeah, I think he should still come out ahead of Darnell.
Net P3, net P4. I think they will do as well.
Actually, I think, as Bean has got the softs selected, as has Southerners this time round.
I believe now it will be dry enough.
Yeah, they're going to come out ahead of Darnell. I think it will. We'll have to wait and see. Where's Darnell going to come out? He's going to come out just in between the Williams and the Haas here. So this is very interesting in terms of the order.
We have the top 3 in the championship.
Not got the utmost confidence.
7, 8, 9, not in the correct order. But we have Beast first, Clock second, and then Crispy in the middle of them on the intermediate tyres.
This is very interesting because again, I know I've said it a lot now and I'm going to sound like a broken record. There is still a considerable amount of spray coming up off of these tyres. But yet the track looks so dry. It was like earlier how it was drying up, but it was still chucking it down. It's going to be really interesting. I don't think the safety car is going to be in this lap. I think it will probably come in the end of next lap, just looking at how far the field is spread out. I really feel like these guys at the front staying out on the inters have missed a trick here, but I could be proven wrong, and it could be an inspired call. I mean, especially for someone like Czech and Crispy, now on fresh inters, if it doesn't dry up enough, they could be in a really strong position come the end of the race.
I don't want to brag at the moment, 'cause obviously this race isn't over by any means, but my prediction for the win was Clock, and he's in a net P2. I'm not quite sure.
Who did I say?
How
Crispy?
I pulled that one out, but yeah, you said Crispy. I mean, it's not over till it's over, is it? So you never know. I think if I was at the front of that train,
out again, then another lap.
you've got. I think you've got to pit. I think you've gained more from pitting than you would staying out, but I really don't know.
By now, it's going to be one of those really. You don't want to pit because you fear you could lose more than you'll gain from it. But I think you're right. I think if someone like Ranga were to pit, he'd be coming out in okay, maybe like a P14 or a P15 perhaps. But there's still about 6 or 7 guys ahead of him.
It's completely dry now. It's definitely dry tyres.
I think it's so difficult though, isn't it, when you're in the lead, you've got the track position to then give it up and you know, be the one with the balls to go for a different strategy and risk losing the race win on a strategy call. But I really feel like those top guys have missed the trick here. Check this out. I feel so bad for him because if he gets the softs, I think he's in prime position to win this race.
Ranga's going to be absolutely gutted. He'd driven a perfect race. He'd kept Check out at bay for 20 odd laps, and now I just can't see him winning, I'm afraid. I think it'll be Crispy or Clock. Sorry, not Crispy, Beast or Clock, which coincidentally is the championship top 2. So in that sense, you've got a pretty exciting finish coming up.
I'll bring the positions up. I mean, I would ask for driver of the day, but I think it's going to be so difficult to call it until everyone's crossed the line and the race is over that I maybe hold off on your vote.
It's just going to depend on how easily these guys can traverse all the inter-runners. Can they avoid damage?
Dry now.
Can they avoid losing time?
Tiny bit of spray off the tyres, but it's nothing
in this lap.
Too dramatic. So it's going to be 3 laps, a 3-lap sprint race to the finish. Oh, this is exciting now.
Get your predictions in now for who's going to win.
It wasn't exciting before, it definitely is now. I think on track I'm going to go with Beast, but God knows what's going to happen with all the penalties that these guys might have. I think on track though, I'm going to say Beast for the win.
I'm still sticking with Clock. That's who I said from the start. I'm sticking with him.
All right then, here we go. Oh, this is going to be good. This is going to be good.
Freeman and Rizal saying Beast. Amico says Clock will get it on pens. Yeah, it's going to go right down to the wire. I can tell already.
I think if that was the case, and it was
the lead us away.
He's going to lead us away in a minute. Jocko and Bunny have had some sort of coming together as Bunny has just got a penalty for it. And Jocko's now
gone.
Hitted.
Ranga's leaving him in the dust.
Ranga has gone. Oh, Beast. Beast is already up into P5. Check this out, it's going side by side with Bunny. Bunny's clipping something, so I wonder if Bunny's had some sort of I wonder if he's been hit there by
a penalty for collision with Jocko, I think.
It's going to be how quickly Beast can get past these guys, because
Clock's
he's
twitchy.
faster, but Ranga's already going. Ranga's already on.
Clock's twitchy on his softs.
Check is already up to 3rd, so these fresh inters may still be pretty good.
Yeah.
It could actually still be intermediate conditions despite the track looking almost dry. Ranga's struggling. All these guys, Ranga's really struggling. Callum McKeon right on the back of Ranga. Who do we watch? Beast is up past
to
Bunny
4th.
then as well by the looks of things.
Oh, Bunny's gone back off his inside.
Oh,
and that's going to allow Clock to get them both, I think, on this straight. On those Beast has got a great exit. What's going on?
What is going on?
Clock's going to be in the toe of Beast. Oh, this is intense. I'm lost for words. This is all for the championship now.
This is breaking point, Jam. Oh,
Clock's got Beast
at the exit of the back
Clock's
straight.
deep, boys. Oh my
Beast
God,
has
the
got
triple
past.
overture.
Beast has got past Clock.
Oh, Ranga's
spun.
Ranga's
Oh,
hit.
Check's hitting.
Clock got hit as well.
Can we keep it? Clock and Beast is through.
Oh,
Ranga's
Ranga's
spun. Come back onto the track.
Oh my God, what's going on?
What is going on? Southerners is up into P4 now. Southerners is up into P3. What is going on? Oh, it's gone mental in the space of about 3 corners. I
Ranga's
don't
just
know
got
what
squeezed between Clock and
what
Williams or
is
something.
happening. Oh, we got a Ferrari round as well.
It's
I think
heartbreak for
that's,
SLR Ranga.
What is going on? Oh, Crispy's out now. Oh no.
Crispy's crashed. He's crashed, Harry.
Crispy's out. Oh, I'm not laughing at Crispy. I'm just laughing. I don't know I don't know what to watch. Oh, it's just all kicked off in about one sector. I genuinely have no idea what to say about what's just happened. I mean, I'm just what is going on?
So much happened in such a short space of time.
Ranga's retired as well. I think a few of these guys have lost hope. Then, unfortunately,
Check stayed
which is a real
out on
shame.
his inters, Harry.
Check's still actually in a P6 at the moment, although I'm not sure how long he's going to stay there for. Bean is up now into P7 as well, but I think that's going to be P6 in a matter of moments here.
What a crazy ending to this race.
Inside of Check.
Oh my God.
Check backs out. I think Check's right to not fight that there, as Jocko's now also into P7. God, what is going on? Alright then, Predators up to P9 as well, so Check's just lost a lot of time, a lot of positions there. Beast, the gap between Beast and Clock, sorry, really not changing too much here. It is really going to be interesting to see who wins this race in terms of penalties. Get your driver of the day votes in, although again it still might be a bit too early to call, as Beast is going to cross the line then to start the final lap here. Dramatic.
Something else
here
worth noting as well, Harry.
Beast gets fastest lap as well, Jam.
As it stands, Racing Point will be Constructors Champions if Beast can hold on to this win.
After all of this, oh,
what's the championship looking like as well between Beast and Clock?
17 points is the gap, so it would become 25 as Beast currently has fastest lap as well.
Yeah, Clock's just got to stay within that penalty range if
well,
there are penalties that will come into play.
Clock's losing a lot of time though to Beast.
I think he's low on fuel. It looks like he's low on fuel, Harry.
Got the fuel light on.
Southerners is right on his tail as well. Southerners could be making a move up to P2 here.
This could be a race-winning move if Beast has a lot more penalties. Perhaps Clock is backing off because Beast has a lot of penalties here. I really don't know. So here we go then. Southerners with the DRS. I think he's going to go for the move. He's certainly going to go for it. Whether he gets it done or not, that's another question. But here we go then. Late on the brakes. Going to try around the outside.
Clock goes in deep.
Very deep into the corner. Southerners then looking round the outside into sector 3. It's going to be the inside for the next corner. Is he going to go for it? Oh no, he has to look round the outside. Oh, I'm not sure that's
Clock covered it off nicely though. Clock covered it off.
Clock does cover it off very nicely, as you say. Through the right hander then.
He's going to win it on track. God knows what's going to happen with penalties.
Crosses the line to win the US Grand Prix. Celebrating. I think he's done it. Clock then coming home P2. Southerners gets P3. P2 on penalty, sorry. Clock P3. Couldn't really afford to lose any more positions than that. Racing Point. Oh, Constructors Champions then. Jocko has got a lot of penalties. I'm not sure if he's going to hold on to P9. OMH has somehow managed to get himself a couple of points as he finishes P9.
Crazy
Callum McKean crosses the line, finishes P11, gets the fastest lap as well. Drastic Blaze around the final corner. Predators has gone all the way up to 6th as well. Liam up into P5 after penalties. What an end to this race.
Oh my God, who would have predicted that?
Wow.
At the start of this race.
What a race. Oh, we've got an achievement. We've reached level 10.
Wow.
Get in. What a race. Jeez. Oh, wow. So Beast then wins the race. The championship lead is now 27 points between himself and Clock in second. Driver of the day. Driver of the day? Driver of the day. Get your votes in for driver of the day. Constructors' Championship is racing points then for this season in Division 2. They needed to outscore their closest opponents, closest rivals, being Alfa Romeo by, I think it was only like 6 points. And so they have done that. Southerners picking up that full-time seat, getting himself a P2. Brilliant drive from him. Monkey and the other McLaren, after really being nowhere in this race, I'm sure he won't mind me saying, is going to come home in P4, as is Liam, who really wasn't anywhere, has also managed P5. Predator's P6, who again wasn't really anywhere in this race. Bean has managed to 3-stop his way to a P7. Darnell comes home P8, OMH 9th, and then Jocko, the final points paying position, in P10. Don't know if you've managed to get anyone into the party.
I've forgotten about that. I've
wow,
just sort of zoned out.
What a race!
Absolutely mental.
Driver of the day, we've got.
I think it might be Southerners.
Southerners and a vote for Liam. I've not really seen
Southerners
any
got one. Liam's got
other
one.
votes. I think Beast's had a couple now. Southerners has had one.
It was like 20 laps. It was not a boring race, but not many moves were happening. And then it got to like lap 20, and someone just sort of like clicked their fingers, just flicked a switch, and it just completely turned on its head.
Yeah.
It went from sort of quite a nice calm race, not too many moves going on, and then suddenly it was absolutely mental.
Oh.
Come on.
Who would have thought it at the start of that race? What a crazy
Honestly.
result! What a crazy race! And we've got the top.
I can't help
three with
but
us
feel
now.
bad for Czech though. I can't help but feel bad for Czech. Accidentally putting on those inters. That's a real shame for him. Who have we got? Who have we got in the party?
Got them all, mate. Got them all.
Have we got everyone? Oh, we got everyone in there. Jeez, yeah. All right. Take it away then, Jam. Take it away.
Well, yeah, crazy, absolutely crazy. I'm struggling to find the words to summarise that race. 20 laps or so. It was nice and calm. It was all right. I mean, the rain obviously spiced it up a bit, but then that safety car at the end, people gambling for the softs, people gambling for the inters. It was just mental. Clock ended up finishing third. I actually predicted you to win the race, and it was looking like it might have happened. But yeah, you ended up finishing third, which I'm sure you'll be pretty pleased with. Although you did end up losing out to Beast. If you just wanna tell us how it was from your end.
Yeah, I mean, I was pretty surprised myself. I don't know, it felt like a bit of quality was that I put a full wet setup on, so I wasn't comfortable at all in quality with the wet setup. It just didn't work at all, and I started well down the order, but I was pretty pacey in the wet. It was just that it was so hard to pass. I think I had a bit too much downforce. I was really quick when I was alone in the wet, but as soon as I was behind someone, I just couldn't get past them. So the setup gamble didn't really work, and in the dry it was just bad. But then, the safety car comes out, and I think it was out for like a whole lap before I came round to the pits, and I was just debating with myself for a whole lap, should I go onto the softs or not, because there was still a lot of spray when the safety car came out initially. But it was so many laps to go, and it had stopped raining like 2 laps ago, so I was like, what is there to gain in 9th? If I wanna make a real championship challenge, I have to score the big points, and so I gambled and I scored the big points, and unfortunately the only guy I have to beat just scored even bigger points.
Yeah, I don't want to sort of, I don't know, I don't want to call it too early, but I think the gap's 27 points now, 2 races to go. Your championship hopes are looking pretty slim now.
It would be,
obviously not until it's over.
It would be nice if I can at least get it going to the last race. That requires beating him in Brazil, but You know, miracles have happened before. If I just go back in the season, I had this gap behind him, and then he destroyed Darnell in Italy and missed Singapore, and I gained 37 points when he scored 0. So, you know, I won't give up until
It's getting in your head.
it's over. But yeah, but it's
Yeah.
true. I mean, I was always behind him, but then I had those 2 races. It just suddenly put me in front of him, and suddenly I had a championship challenge going on for real. But then I had 2 really shit races in Japan and Mexico instead, so it evened out, and now we're back to the same gap again.
Yeah. Either way, great race from yourself. I'm sure you'll be pleased with that result. So well done to you.
Yeah, thank you.
So we'll move on to Southerners. His debut in a full-time seat in SLR, and sort of under the radar. We always seem to end up with someone under the radar in Div 2. You've ended up finishing in 2nd place. You didn't have any penalties. It looked like maybe the win was on. Obviously, we didn't know that, but yeah, if you just want to talk us through that crazy race from your perspective.
First of all, I promised I'd do this. I want to dedicate my first SLR podium to my 2 biggest fans, Night Ranger 95 and Baggy Fan 1995. That's that out of the way. I'm buzzing after that. I didn't know Beast had a 3-second penalty, but I knew the drivers in front and behind did, so I just wanted to, towards the end, just, if not maintain 3rd, if I was confident getting 2nd, I would have given it a go, which I did. Yeah, I was nowhere at the start of the race. After we went round Sector 1 for the first time, I thought this wet setup I chose in quali, it done me better in quali than in the race. So, thank God in the end, it got dry. A lot of luck, but I always say luck favours the brave. And I'm glad to get a podium on my first full-time race in the Willy.
Yeah, well, it's a great result. Obviously, P2 on your debut, and you showed some real good pace at times. I think you showed obviously you deserve to be here. You deserve to be in a full-time seat.
Yeah, I think pace-wise, the setup probably affected me a bit bad today, especially in the straights. I thought it would benefit me in the corners, but if anything, it was horrendous in the corners. Again, thank God it dried up. But I knew I had relatively decent pace after doing the Wednesday leagues. I just felt under pressure today to try and pass that over on today, and thankfully I got 2nd place. Hopefully I can keep it going.
Yeah, well done to you. Great drive, and that brings us nicely onto your race winner and championship leader, UK Beast Assassin. I don't really know how you won that, to be honest. If I'm going to put it bluntly, no disrespect to you, but yeah, you were down in P6, P7 for most of that race, and then took the gamble under the safety car, and obviously it's paid off for you.
Yeah, honestly, at the start of the race, I thought I'm happy to settle in P6, P7, knowing Clock was behind me. I thought obviously I'd still gain points, although be it not as many. But then when when it was just drying up, gambling for the softs, I have to thank OMH and Jocko for that one, because they both kind of influenced the decision, both doing it themselves as well. Actually, no, Jocko didn't, but yeah, I don't even know, like, the battle with Clock at the end was pretty intense. Obviously, I needed to stay ahead to have any chance of extending the gap. Yeah. Nothing else to say, really. I'm as shocked as you are.
Yeah, well, that sort of two weeks in a row we've had crazy endings to races, and obviously 2 races to go in the season. Hopefully, more of the same. I think we're about done here, Harry. If you want to round us out.
Have you given out driver of the day?
Oh no, I forgot about that. Thanks for reminding me. I believe it went to Southerners. I didn't really see anyone else voting. We got, I think, 3 in the end for Southerners, and he's definitely my vote. So yeah, well done to you.
I'll sleep like a baby tonight. Thank you, guys.
Congrats, Southerners. Great race.
Just well rested, everyone.
Alright. So, an absolutely action-packed US Grand Prix that really sort of blew up in the final 5 laps or so. It was eventually won by Beast with that strategy call going on to the softs. Second was Southerners, who capitalised on a couple of penalties and also switching on to the soft compound tyres to take P2 on his full-time debut. Third was Clock, so he's keeping that championship alive as it stands as we go into Brazil with a 27-point gap between the two of them, Clock and Beast. And then the Constructors tonight was wrapped up by Racing Point, so congratulations to them. But I mean, I just hope that we'll see an equally as interesting race next week, and hopefully a dramatic championship finale going into Abu Dhabi. But thank you very much for watching, and we will catch you guys